हम इतने स्टूपिड हैं कि हम उसी पानी को खराब करते हैं जो खुद ही पीना है, उसी हवा को खराब करते हैं जो खुद ही सांस लेना है, उसी मिट्टी को खराब करते हैं जिसमें से खुद ही खाना उगा के खाना। How many of you realize that your kitchen is a factory of carbon dioxide? I can guarantee you today that humanity will not survive. %99% people have no idea what is actually happening, and that's why I'm here to give you a sense what is happening. By the way, we all take care of our small home, right? Why do we take care of our small home? Why do we clean it? Why do we paint it? Why do we do that? Why do we take care of small home? Because it gives us protection, you know. हवा से, पानी से, मिट्टी से हमारा घर है, हमें वो प्रोटेक्ट करता है. This tiny ball that is hanging there, we call it as that planet Earth. It is also our home, you know. It also gives us protection. And if there is no atmosphere on this planet, human life is not possible. If there is no atmosphere, ultraviolet radiation will be so high that we cannot survive. If there is no atmosphere, temperature will be so low that we will not be able to survive. But somehow we are not taking care of this bigger home. And home is home. If you don't take care of it, it's not going to take care of you. So therefore, what I'm going to do today is to bring you understanding of what is climate change. And most people don't understand this, I can tell you. I've been traveling all over the country, meeting all kind of people, you know, last 6 years. And we are also going to discuss how to correct it. So by the way, मेरा नाम चेतन सिंह सोलंकी है और मैं शादीशुदा हूँ. हाँ, मैं शादीशुदा हूँ. मेरी 2 बेटियाँ हैं. But I left my home for 11 years, you know. So last time when I went home, it was 2020. And next time I'm going to go home, it is going to be 2031. And I keep asking, you know, why would a professor of IIT Bombay, married person with 2 daughters, who leave home for 11 years? What could be the reason, you know? There can be 2 possibilities. One, that professor का screw ढीला हो गया, or there is a genuine reason. You know? Looking at me, what do you think? मेरा screw ढीला लगता है? Oh, thank you so much for being kind to me. इसका मतलब there is something very genuine, such a big problem that somebody will leave home for 11 years. So what I'm doing is I made this bus as my home. You know, there is bed inside, there's a kitchen inside, washroom inside, there's a library inside, there's an office inside, there is a temple inside, and also there is small garden inside. There are solar panels on the top. That panels generate enough power that all the operations inside can be performed with the solar power except the engine of the bus, which runs on a normal fuel. So we are going to start with this question, that suppose we take a picture of the planet right now. What are the things we are going to see on this planet? Well, typically we see 2 things, you know. We will see something is growing and something is degrading. What is growing on this planet? Is AI growing? Artificial intelligence? Yes or no? Computer technology is growing? Mobile technology? Space technology? Very nice. So congratulations to all of you for all this wonderful growth of technology. Tell me, what is degrading? Nature is degrading. What is happening to air quality? Improving or degrading? Water quality? Soil quality? Oh my God. What is this? Everything that is essential for survival is degrading, and everything that is not essential. Suppose there is no AI in your life, would you be able to survive? Yes. Suppose there is no water in your life, would you be able to survive? No. Something without which you can't even survive. Without breathing, you can't survive more than 2 minutes. Without drinking water, you can't survive more than 8-10 days. Without eating, you cannot survive. Everything that is essential for survival is all degrading, and everything which is non-essential is all growing. How do we describe this situation of the planet right now? What do you call such a situation? Is this a modernity or a stupidity? It looks like a plain stupidity, you know, and that's why I keep saying, Professor, that everywhere I go, that the modern humans, which means all of us, the modern humans are the most stupid animal ever existed on this planet. And guess what? अभी तक किसी ने objection भी नहीं लिया. हम इतने स्टूपिड हैं कि हम उसी पानी को खराब करते हैं जो खुद ही पीना है, उसी हवा को खराब करते हैं जो खुद ही सांस लेना है, उसी मिट्टी को खराब करते हैं जिसमें से खुद ही खाना उगा के खाना. And we have done that. So therefore the question is there something wrong in this world? And answer is of course, there is something terribly wrong, and that wrong is called climate change. But climate change is not pollution, by the way. A lot of people are confused in the country, in the world. We all think whenever we talk about environment, we talk about pollution, we talk about plastic, we talk about river pollution, we talk about Delhi air pollution. That's nothing, that's a tiny problem, you know that? Pollution is not a big deal, you know, we can always correct it. Like during COVID, what we did, all our factories were stopped, all our vehicles were stopped, and sky became clear, right? We could see Himalaya once again. Can we do it again? क्या फिर से हिमालय दिखेगा दिल्ली से? ऐसा हो सकता है? Yes. Again we can do it. What we have to do? Stop your factories and vehicles for 1 month. That's it. Sky will become clear again. You know, air will become clean again. So the pollution problem can be solved. But what cannot be solved is climate change. And what is climate change? Change in weather system. It is not same anymore. Summers are not same anymore. Winters are not same anymore. Monsoon is not same anymore. Are you all feeling the change? Are you all feeling the change? Everything is changing. What is happening? Floods, droughts, heat waves, forest fires, ice melting, sea level rise. All this is happening. This picture, by the way, on the left hand corner, bottom, you know, this is a picture from Odisha. And last time when my yatra was there, somebody told me, sir, you should go to this village. And he insisted, and I went there. This village is called Sadbhaya village. If you can Google search, you can figure out. When I went there, I was shocked. You know what? What do you see here in this picture? Temple of a village and the hand pump of a village. Which means, but village is not there. Village is gone. It used to be there. Where it has gone? Submerged. Why? Sea level is rising. Why? Glaciers are melting. Why? Temperature is rising. And this is happening not only at one place, it is happening everywhere. You go to West Bengal, many islands are already half, vanished. If you go to, Indonesia, Indonesia's capital, Jakarta is already, it's known as the world's fastest sinking city. The whole city is sinking. 40% of ice has already melted on the North Pole. 40%. Ice has disappeared already. So basically, climate is changing, and it is changing faster and faster and faster. And I keep asking, ever since I started my yatra, I left my home, I've been looking for the people who have done this. Kisne kiya hai climate change? Who has polluted the air? Who has polluted? Who has caused climate change? I keep asking everywhere. So basically, the agenda is therefore today is what? Change all of us. It is important that all of us change. The manner in which we are living on this planet, I can guarantee you today, and you can write in the walls of Sri Sri, that humanity will not survive. This is the way we can't survive, and therefore it is important that we change. And I'm going to introduce you to the idea of climate Satyagraha, what actually it is, and then eventually we are going to take some action. It is not enough to understand, clap, and then go home. Isn't it? Ever since my yatra started, I have been looking for the people who has caused the change. And who has caused the climate change? According to me, everybody who brush teeth in the morning, he is causing the climate change. Are you all brushing teeth in the morning? कितने लोग सुबह ब्रश करते हैं? आप में से कितने लोगों को पता है ब्रश करना एक खतरनाक काम है? It's a dangerous activity. You know that? If not, I'm going to explain you how dangerous it is to brush your teeth. By the way, to brush your teeth, what you need? We need toothpaste. And because toothpaste is going inside the mouth, it has to be manufactured under very hygienic condition, right? And to maintain those hygienic conditions, you need air conditioning, air filters, all kind of things are required. And then to manufacture the toothpaste, what you need? You need some powder, some oil, some water, some chemical. Then you need machine. Then you need energy to run the machine. When we all do this process for manufacturing toothpaste, what do you think? Will there be air pollution? Fatafat. Quick. Will there be air pollution? Water pollution? Carbon emission? Everything happens just because of your manufacturing toothpaste. But we, the great people, the modern people, we don't buy toothpaste in the tube only, right? We buy toothpaste in beautiful package. That package is cardboard and there are beautiful inks, Colgate, Pepsodent, etc. has to be written. That is all chemicals. Is that going to result in pollution? How many of you know where your toothpaste got manufactured? How many kilometers from your home or your place of consumption? 100 kilometers, 200 kilometers, 500,000? Does anybody know? No. So it has to be transported. For transportation, you are going to run a truck, and for that you are going to run diesel and petrol. That is going to result in a carbon emission, yes or no? Then shopkeeper is going to keep the toothpaste in the shop, and he is going to use lights, fans, etc. That is going to get pollution. Then you go and buy it. Do you go walking anymore? No, we will be blanket or some, going by car. That is also going to result in pollution. So now imagine the story of the toothpaste coming to your home. But toothpaste alone is not good enough. You need toothbrush. For that you need to package, transport, store, etc. Is a toothpaste and toothbrush good enough to brush your teeth? What else you need? You need water. And for water you need pipe. For pipe you need iron. And where does iron come from? Iron mining is required. That will take a lot of energy. And then you have to melt iron, right? Have you seen iron manufacturing? Any one of you steel manufacturing? There are plants here. When you go to steel manufacturing plant, you don't see steel. What do you see? Piles of coal. Huge amount of coal is burned to actually melt iron. And that is not enough. You need motor. For that you need copper wire, right? So copper mining is required. That is not enough. You need overhead tank. For overhead tank you need cement, concrete, iron. All this material is required to brush your teeth. By the way, is this good enough to brush your teeth, or you needed something else? Is that good enough, or you need something else? You need wash basin. Wash basin is made out of which material? Ceramic. Ceramic has a melting temperature higher than iron. Is that good enough, or you need something else? हेलो हेलो, सुबह सुबह अपना सुंदर से क्या बोलते हैं उसको, थोबड़ा देखने के लिए क्या लगता है? Mirror. Mirror is made out of silicon oxide, 850 degree centigrade melting temperature. Is this good enough to brush your teeth? No. बाथरूम को चारों तरफ से बंद करके रखा है, इसलिए बल्ब चाहिए, बल्ब को चलाने के बिजली चाहिए. भारत में 70% बिजली कोयले से आती है, उसके कारण कार्बन एमिशन होगा. When you make all this arrangement in your life, then you can perform a simple task called brushing teeth. Oh my God. You can imagine how dangerous it is. Now it does not mean that you stop brushing teeth from tomorrow, okay? Please don't do that. But what it means is that you should become aware even about brushing teeth if at all you are interested in environment and correcting environment. Does it make sense? पर्यावरण को ठीक करना है तो ब्रश कैसे करते हैं उस पर भी ध्यान देना पड़ेगा. Now tell me, if brushing teeth is such a results in a carbon emission, air pollution, does sending WhatsApp message would also do the same thing? Yes or no? Quick, yes or no? And would wearing clothes also result in a pollution? And using electricity also result in pollution? And sitting on a chair? Yes or no? And making this building? And also traveling? Car? Mobile phone? There is nothing in this modern world that you touch is not causing climate change. You getting my point? There is absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. In nature there is no free lunch. There is nothing free. If you are going to do something, if you are going to construct something, if you are going to dig a hole, if you are going to refine something, if you are going to manufacture something, there will always be a side effect. Who is brushing teeth? कौन करता है? मनुष्य करते हैं, हम करते हैं, मैं करता हूं. ब्रश कौन करता है? मनुष्य करता है, right? Professor, whenever I ask people about the climate change, who has caused the climate change? All smart, educated, intelligent people, what they say? Who has caused the climate change? They say all humans have done it. I have not done it. तो ब्रश कौन करता है? मनुष्य करता तो कि ह्यूमन तुम करते हो? कौन करता है? अच्छा, खाना कौन खाता है? हम नहीं, मैं खाता हूं. कपड़े कौन पहनता है? हाँ. ट्रेवल कौन करता है? एसी का आनंद कौन लेता है? एयर पॉल्यूशन किसने किया है? हाँ. से इट लाउडली. हु हैज कॉज्ड एयर पॉल्यूशन? वाटर पॉल्यूशन, सॉइल पॉल्यूशन, ग्लोबल वार्मिंग, क्लाइमेट चेंज. वेरी नाइस. तो ठीक कौन करेगा? हु इज गोइंग टू करेक्ट इट? हाँ. Go outside this hall and ask people who is going to correct the climate change. The most common answer, वो सरकार को कुछ करना चाहिए, वो इंडस्ट्री को कुछ करना चाहिए. We don't realize that it is I who is consuming. If I don't buy, Colgate manufacturer will not manufacture it. They don't manufacture things to keep in the cupboard and the warehouse. Yes? Yes or no? People don't manufacture car because they want to keep in a warehouse. They manufacture because consumer buys it. So it's every consumer who is the user of all this material. So eventually driver of production and pollution is individual, each one of us. There are two kinds of garbage that we should all become aware about. You all know garbage, right? There's one category of garbage, it is called visible garbage. Visible garbage. What is visible garbage? The garbage that comes out of your kitchen, plastic, packaging, all that is visible garbage. Where do we throw visible garbage? Visible garbage दिखता है तो उसमें वजन होता है, मास होता है, कहाँ फेंकते हैं? जमीन पर फेंकते हैं, right? This visible garbage, most of it is a biodegradable, except plastic and some other material. Most of the visible garbage is biodegradable. And suppose we are not able to collect it today, we can collect it tomorrow, we can collect it next month, we can collect it next year also. In contrast to the visible garbage, there is another category of garbage called invisible garbage. What is invisible garbage? The garbage that you can't touch, you can't feel, you can't see. For example, when we are burning LPG in the kitchen, have you seen LPG burning? Okay. LPG is made out of carbon. So when you burn LPG in the kitchen, there is a byproduct coming out. That byproduct is carbon dioxide. Whenever you burn carbon, it results in carbon dioxide. Whenever you burn petrol, it results in carbon dioxide. Diesel is carbon dioxide. Every carbon product, when you burn it, results in carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide is a colorless and smellless gas. It has no color, no smell. You can't see it. How many of you realize that your kitchen is a factory of carbon dioxide? Have you realized even? Whenever we cook food in the kitchen, we are throwing a lot of carbon dioxide. We don't even become aware because we can't see it, we can't touch it, we can't feel it, we can't smell it. That carbon dioxide I call is invisible garbage. You can't see it, right? The problem is that the invisible garbage, we throw it in the atmosphere, right? It is gas. Where it will go? It is in the atmosphere. When we are running this AC, we are using electricity, and 70% electricity coming from coal. So somewhere coal is being burned, and which means carbon dioxide is released. Where it is going? In the atmosphere. The problem is, once it is released in the atmosphere, it has an average life of 300 years. How many years? Which means the AC that we are enjoying right now in this hall, it is going to create impact in the atmosphere for how many years? 300 years. The food that you are going to eat today, cooked on LPG, that will have impact on environment for how many years? 300 years. Can you imagine? Can you imagine now? Every single day of modern life is a disaster on the planet. Because we are all using energy in various ways, and we are throwing in the carbon in the atmosphere. And by the way, once it is released in the atmosphere, can you collect it? Like a visible garbage, aaj nahi to kal utha. Can you collect that garbage? Once it is gone forever. The problem is the numbers. The visible garbage in India, the average per family per year, the visible garbage is how much? 150 kg. And how much is the invisible garbage? 10,000 kg, my God. 10,000 kilogram. And we all worry about which garbage, visible or invisible. We have city like Indore. Indore is known as what? Cleanest city. Clean in what? Clean in which garbage? They are clean in the visible garbage. 150 kg. We are nicely, smartly, somehow we are able to collect the visible garbage and process it, and we say, okay, Indore number one. But that's a very tiny bit of a problem. The real problem is invisible garbage. The real problem is invisible garbage. You can't touch it, you can't feel it, but look at the number, 10,000 kg per family per year. And why it is happening? Because of this, that the most of energy that we consume in this world comes from carbon, coal, oil and gas. How much? 80 to 85% energy that we are using coming from the carbon. And every time when we burn carbon, it results in carbon dioxide. And where do we throw carbon dioxide? Where do we release carbon dioxide? In the atmosphere. We all release carbon dioxide in the atmosphere as if atmosphere is your father's property. But you know, by the how many of you have seen atmosphere? This is atmosphere. You know, this is atmosphere. The thin blue layer in the entire universe, this is atmosphere. And there is nothing beyond this. It's all vacuum. And in the entire universe, human life is possible only in this atmosphere. There is no other place. पूरे ब्रह्मांड में ऐसी कोई दूसरी जगह नहीं है जहां पर मनुष्य का जीवन चल सकता हो. That's only place. And what are we doing this atmosphere? By the way, science is growing, technology is growing, economy is growing. Is the atmosphere also growing? No, atmosphere is not growing. And what we are doing? This 10,000 kg we are all pumping here. So what we have done? We have made this atmosphere as our dustbin. What a shame, you know. ये हम सब मनुष्यों का कचरे का डब्बा बन गया atmosphere. By the way, the carbon dioxide has a life of 300 years, right? So it is not going and disappearing anywhere. It is all accumulating and accumulating and accumulating. Where it will disappear, right? Once it is emitted, it is going to be there for 300 years average. So what is happening? The carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is constant. Now, ever since we got hold of coal, oil and gas, it is, you know, we have started releasing more carbon dioxide. Look where it is going. Right now, as I am talking to you, there is 53% extra carbon dioxide sitting in the atmosphere. 53%. And what is the job of carbon dioxide? What we call this carbon dioxide as? What do we call it as? Greenhouse gas. And the job of greenhouse gas is what? Greenhouse effect. And what is greenhouse effect? Trapping the heat. Greenhouse effect क्या होता है? गर्मी को, for example, when you are sitting in your car and you close all the window without running AC, what will happen? Even in winter, it starts getting heating. Right? That is greenhouse, exactly greenhouse effect. So the job of 53% extra gas is trap 53% extra heat. As a result of that, temperature of the planet is rising and rising and rising. This is the trend right now. It used to rise slowly earlier. Then the rate increases. And then beyond 1965, look at where it is going. What do you see here? What do you see? Look at this curve. You know, we are rising, temperature is rising, where it is going. You know, do you know the difference between linear curve and exponential curve? You know the difference? Hello? Linear, exponential. This temperature graph is not rising linearly, it is rising exponential. That's a disaster. You know why? Because now we have lesser and lesser time available for us to correct it. And a lot of people always worry about, oh, इतनी गर्मी, इस साल इतनी गर्मी, तो what do you think next year क्या होने वाला है? Temperature कम होगा, बढ़ेगा? और उसके अगले साल? और उसके अगले साल? और बढ़ेगा. Let us realize. By the way, small rise in temperature, you know, body का temperature थोड़ा सा बढ़ जाए, 98.4 डिग्री फ़ारेनहाइट होता है, डिग्री फ़ारेनहाइट में थोड़ा सा बढ़ जाए, 100 डिग्री हो जाए, what we say? Body has got fever. How much is the difference? 98.4 plus 1.5 degree or 1.56 degree. Out of 98.5 degree, if 1.5 degree temperature of the body increases, we say body has got fever. And when we get fever, we lose balance. We can't eat properly, we can't sleep properly. Right now, the planet's temperature is increased by 2.5 degree Fahrenheit. How much? 2.5 degree. So can we say planet has got the fever? Can we say planet has got the fever? Oh my God, planet has got the fever. And true, planet has lost the balance. It cannot behave properly. There are floods and droughts and heat waves and bemousam, barsa, all kind of things. Planet has got the fever. When we get a fever, what we do? We take medicine, paracetamol to reduce the temperature. What do you think? Shall we reduce the temperature of the planet or not? First question. Shall we reduce or not? Yes. Okay. Some people are interested. Shall we reduce the temperature of the planet? Yes. What should we do? What medicine we should give to the planet so that we can reduce its temperature? Planting trees. By the way, one more point before we come to the planting trees. 2024 was the warmest year in human history. Human history has been there for 300,000 years. 3 लाख साल से मनुष्य लोग इस धरती पर जी रहे हैं. 2024 सबसे गर्म साल था. It is anticipated that 2026 is going to be breaking the record. You know, as we go further, it is going to break the record. Unfortunately, every system has a physical limit. Right? रबर बैंड फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ यू पुल द रबर बैंड एंड लीव इट बैक, इट गोज टू द ओरिजिनल स्टेट. ज़्यादा खींचो तो क्या हो जाएगा? टूट जाएगा. चेयर ऑन विच यू आर सिटिंग, 1 person can sit, 2 person, 3, 4, 5, 10 people can sit. 11th person sits on it, then what will happen? Breaks down. So every physical system has a breakdown limit. Similarly, global warming, climate change also has a breakdown limit. You know, temperature can rise, but beyond a point it is going to break down. I call that is a Lakshman Rekha of climate change. You know Lakshman Rekha? You know, Sita Maiya एक बार लक्ष्मण रेखा कूद गई तो देवी जैसे मैया भी वापस नहीं आ सकी. Once we cross this line of 2 degrees centigrade, you know, 1.5 degrees centigrade, climate change will start to be irreversible. At 2.2 degrees centigrade, it will be completely irreversible. 2 degrees centigrade is about 3.7 degree Fahrenheit, in degree Fahrenheit. So once we cross the irreversible limit, then we will not be able to correct it again, no matter what we do. You know, 8 billion लोग धरती के सब लोग डिसाइड करें कि अभी अब साधु बन जाएंगे, एक लंगोट पहन के जिएंगे, फिर भी क्लाइमेट को कभी भी रिवर्स नहीं कर पाएंगे एक बार ये ब्रेक डाउन हो गया तो. अच्छा, फिर क्या होगा 2 डिग्री के बाद में? क्या होगा? अचानक प्रलय आएगा, हम सब लोग मर जाएंगे, ऐसा कुछ होगा? आंसर इज नो. ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं होने वाला है. कोई प्रलय वलय नहीं आएगा. पता है क्यों? क्योंकि नेचर हमें इतनी आसान मौत नहीं देने वाली. नेचर इतनी आसानी से नहीं मारेगी. कैसे मारेगी बताए? एक मूवी में जो खतरनाक विलेन होता है, डेंजरस विलेन, हाउ डज इट किल द हीरो? हाँ, वैसे ही. कैसे मारता है? तड़पा तड़पा. ये सबको जोर से साथ में बोलना चाहिए ताकि सबको याद रहे. एक बार टेम्परेचर इरिवर्सिबल हो गया तो अचानक कुछ नहीं होने वाला है, धीरे धीरे होगा. क्या होगा? नेचर हमें कैसे मारने वाली है? तड़पा तड़पा के. एंड दैट्स व्हाई आई एम वरिंग प्रोफेसर दैट व्हाई पीपल आर नॉट रेस्टलेस, व्हाई पेरेंट्स आर नॉट रेस्टलेस. मेरे बच्चों का क्या होगा, मेरे कुछ, कोई भी किसी को चिंता नहीं है. नो प्रोफेसर्स, नो पेरेंट्स, नो पॉलिसी मेकर, नो पॉलिटिशियन, नो प्रेस, nobody is restless about the situation that is evolving on this planet. And we are in such a deep trouble that we have no idea what is happening. And by the end of this century, in a normal situation, the best case scenario 3 degrees centigrade, the worst case scenario 6 degrees centigrade. 6 degrees centigrade is something like 10 to 12 degree Fahrenheit. The climate change happened during the dinosaur. It was not their mistake. You know why it happened? Some meteorite hit and then it changed, the climate happened. But right now the climate is changing because of all of us and each of our activity that we perform. So therefore the question is, shall we reduce the temperature of the planet? Yes? What should we do? क्या करना चाहिए? Well, first of all, I have been, as I said, I am a professor, I am a scientist, I am a technologist of energy, and I have traveled across the world. First of all, I have been observing what is not working as a solution. Then we will come to the solution. भारत में जब किसी को सत्य सिखाना हो तो पहले क्या करते हैं? उसको असत्य सिखाते हैं. असत्य क्या है? जिसको असत्य समझ में आता है उसको सत्य फिर समझ में आता है. राइट? तो क्या सॉल्यूशन है समझाने के पहले क्या सॉल्यूशन नहीं है यह समझना जरूरी. आर यू ऑल रेडी? What is not working as a solution? Planting trees is not a solution. You can plant as many trees as you want. You can plant whole your life. You can plant every single day. That is not going to solve the problem. मैं आजकल हमेशा उदाहरण देता हूँ कि ये मनुष्य कितना जालिम हो गया है. You know जालिम मतलब क्या होता है? You know what we do? We create all kind of problem. Pollution create करते. किससे करते? फटाफट बताना. Is brushing teeth results in a pollution? Wearing clothes? Using electricity, eating food, traveling, construction, everything results in a pollution. और हम सब क्या चाहते हैं? कौन ठीक करेगा उसको? पेड़ ठीक करेंगे. बताओ, ऐसा हो सकता है? बेचारा पेड़ तुम्हारे लिए क्या क्या करेगा? तुम सारा तूफान मचाओ, एसी चलाओ, एलपीजी चलाओ, खाना करो, ये करो, 10 पे एक फ्री लेके आओ, ये सारे काम मनुष्य लोग करें, है ना? और हम चाहते हैं कौन ठीक करे? पेड़ ठीक करे. Is it really possible? No. You can plant as many trees as you want. In today's equation, the rate of growth of carbon emission is so high, poor trees can't do anything for you. What else we can do? Collecting plastic. You know, भारत में जितने एनजीओ उनके 2 फेवरेट काम होते हैं. एक तो होता है पौधे लगाना, दूसरा प्लास्टिक बचाना. I keep saying, you know, भोलेनाथ को प्रसन्न कर लेते हैं. भोलेनाथ जी आपके सामने तथास्तु बोलने के लिए, यू से भोलेनाथ जी दुनिया से प्लास्टिक हटा दो, एंड ही सेज तथास्तु, एक सेकंड में दुनिया से प्लास्टिक हट गया. विल द एनवायरमेंट गेट रिस्टोर्ड, करेक्टेड? No, because that's a tiny bit of a problem. That is not even a problem. You all worry about plastic because it is visible to your eyes, because वो दिखता है. The real problem is something that is not visible. What will help then? Will policy making help? Policy making will help us. You know, we have been making lot of policies. In international level, the Kyoto Protocol, Paris Agreement, COP meetings. In India, we have Energy Conservation Act. Energy Conservation Act says everybody should conserve energy. You know what every state government does? They all give free electricity. So what is the policy can help us? No. Achha, would technology help us? What does our experience suggest? As the time is passing, are the technologies growing? Yes. And is the problem growing? Even faster. You know, I am a professor of solar energy. People call me Solar Man of India. I always say the rule number 1 of using solar energy is don't use solar energy. You know why? Solar panel भगवान के यहाँ से नहीं आते हैं. Getting my point? जमीन खोदना पड़ती है, माइनिंग करना पड़ती है, रिफाइन करना पड़ता है, एल्यूमिनियम बनाना पड़ता है, ग्लास बनाना पड़ता है, सिलिकॉन बनाना पड़ता है, आयरन, कॉपर, इन्वर्टर, इतना सारा तामझाम करते हैं, तब जाके सोलर पैनल बनता है. और इंसानों को क्या लगता है? सोलर पैनल लगा लिया मतलब हमारा सारा पाप खत्म हो गया. You're getting my point? So electric vehicles, solar panels, green hydrogen, ये सब से करने से तो क्लाइमेट ठीक होते हुए दिख नहीं रहा. Einstein also said this. You know, Einstein, very famous scientist, he said the very same consciousness that has created the problem cannot be used to solve the same problem. Technology cannot help us. Will economic growth help us? Suppose we increase GDP even faster, will that help us? No. मोदी जी ने दिवाली पे अपना GST 5% कम कर दिया था, तो खरीदारी 23% बढ़ गई. That also cannot help us. So first thing we have to realize that all this thing you see on your screen is not the solution to the environmental restoration and climate change. Why I call it always? Because cancer cannot be treated by taking paracetamol. ये जो दिख रहा है ये सब क्या है? ये सब क्या है? Paracetamol. It gives you good feeling. Whoa, I'm putting solar, I'm using electric vehicle, I'm planting trees. It gives you only good feeling that we are doing something. In reality, it is not helping us. Problem is growing in front of our eyes every single day. So then question is, what should we do? Isn't it? What is the next question that comes in your mind? If at all it is coming in your mind. आगे का प्रश्न आ रहा है? क्या प्रश्न है? हाँ? तो फिर क्या करें? ये भी नहीं, इससे कैसे काम नहीं चलेगा इससे, तो फिर क्या करना चाहिए? Well, I always say, एक सत्य को समझना चाहिए. You need to recognize the truth. And what is the truth? गीता में ट्रुथ की परिभाषा दी गई है, you know, नास्तो विद्यते भावो, ना भावो विद्यते सत. जो असत्य है वो टिकता नहीं है, और जो सत्य है कभी खत्म होता नहीं है. जो कभी खत्म ना हो वो सत्य है. That is truth, right? So for example, human body, सत्य है कि असत्य है? असत्य है तो खत्म हो जाएगी. ये बिल्डिंग जिसमें हम बैठे हैं सत्य है कि असत्य है? असत्य. ये भी टूट जाएगा 50-100 साल बाद. 2 + 2 = 4. ये सत्य है कि असत्य है? ये सत्य है. आपका कुछ भी हो जाए, आप चांद पे जाओ नहीं जाओ, जीडीपी बढ़ जाए जीडीपी घट जाए, whatever happens to you, 2 + 2 is always going to be 4. This is truth. So similarly, if you really want to solve the problem of environment and climate change, you need to recognize the truth. And if you want to know that, you want to know the truth, what is the truth? Then you have to answer some of my question in yes and no. Ready? Everybody together? Yes. Here we go. Is the science improving? Yes. Technology is growing? Yes. Economy is growing? Yes. Very, everything is growing. Here is another set of question. Does the size of our planet growing? No. Oh, minerals growing? No. Soil growing? No. Nothing on this planet is growing. Planet is not growing. This is truth. Whatever happens to science, technology, economy, doesn't matter. Planet is always going to be fixed and finite. It is not going to change. Yes or no? So planet is finite. This is the truth. And it is also correct that everything we take from the planet, right? ये कपड़े कहाँ से आए? ये building material, tiles, everything comes from the planet. So here is a question for you, if you really want to understand, that planet is not growing, minerals are not growing, soil is not growing, and we take everything from the planet, then tell me, how come the number of clothes in your cupboards are growing? जो लेते धरती से लेते, धरती बढ़ नहीं रही, तो फिर अलमारी में कपड़े कैसे बढ़ते हैं? तो सड़कों पर गाड़ियां कैसे बढ़ती है? और शहरों में बिल्डिंग कैसे बढ़ रही है? जितनी सैलरी उतना ही तो खर्चा कर सकते हो. Can we increase? Can we spend more than salary? Yes, sometime. How? By taking loan or stealing money. Still चोरी वगैरह करके भी तो कर सकते हैं. Humans are almost living like a stolen life today, no? ये मनुष्य लोग जितने इस समय धरती पर जो जीवन चलता है वो सब चोरी का चलता है. चोरी किसको बोलते हैं? जो हमारा नहीं वो ले लेना चोरी का है ना. फॉर एग्जाम्पल किसी से 100 रुपए लिए और वापस दिए तो क्या बोलते हैं? उधार लिए थे. और किसी से 100 रुपए लिए और वापस नहीं दिए जीवन भर तो क्या कहेंगे? चोरी की. फॉर एग्जाम्पल let's say water table in India. What is happening to the water table? It is going down. Is that correct? Water table going down. Why? Because we are taking lot of water. You know? तो क्या बोल सकते हैं? जितना पानी जाता है जमीन से उससे ज्यादा ले रहे हैं, इसलिए पानी का लेवल कम. क्या हम बोल सकते हैं पानी की चोरी हो रही है? Yes or no? और जो चोरी करता है उसको क्या बोलते हैं? और चोर कौन है? हम नहीं. हाँ, very nice. Very nice. That you have to realize. So basically, we have to recognize this truth that science is not growing, technology is not growing, science and technology is growing, planet is not growing, minerals are not growing, soil is not growing, therefore consumption cannot grow. Does it make sense? This is the ultimate truth. If at all you want to survive on this planet, this you have to follow. And I can see that 99.9% people are not following this. As a result of which, two things are happening: depletion and degradation. Resources are getting depleted and resources are getting degraded. So this is the ultimate formula, if at all, if you want to live on this planet. Shall I repeat this? Because this is what you should take today, I'm going to repeat and you repeat after me. Ready? Okay. On the finite planet, with finite resources, we can only have finite consumption. And who should have finite consumption? I. Don't start giving gyan to others, right? Otherwise you'll go home today. Professor Solanki आए थे, देखो इतनी बढ़िया बात बताई, धरती सीमित है इसलिए जरूरतें सीमित होना चाहिए. एक काम करना, तुम अपनी जरूरतें सीमित कर ले. Who should start this? I should start. I have been professor at IIT Bombay. At my home there is no refrigerator, there is no geyser, no AC. I don't iron my clothes. I don't take soap for taking bath. There are so many things we have stopped using. You know why? Because what is written on my shirt? I can afford but nature cannot. And I can grow, my salary can grow, my business can grow, my capacity to buy can grow, but nature's capacity to supply cannot grow. Why? Because nature is fixed, finite. Every resource is fixed, finite, fixed and finite. And eventually we always say, it's written on our emblem also, what? Satyamev jayate. Satyam eva jayate. जो सत्य होता है वही जीतता है. और सत्य क्या है? धरती finite है, सीमित है, यही सत्य है. And if you are not going to follow this truth, human life will not survive on this planet. As I said, we say once upon a time there were dinosaurs on this planet. If we continue to behave like this, some 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years later, new species will come on this planet, and what they will say? Once upon a time, oh, I am not saying this, you are saying this. That is the situation we are. So, we should do something about it. Yes or no? Would you like to do something about it? आधे लोगों से काम नहीं चलेगा. Everybody is emitting carbon dioxide. So सबको करना पड़ेगा. Would you like to do something about it? Yes, sir. What should I do? What should be my first action? As I said, not planting tree, not plastic. No, that actions are not sufficient. What should be my first action? Well, just follow this analogy. When we have fixed salary, fixed expenditure, when my size of car is fixed, number of people sitting in the car is fixed. When my size of house is fixed, number of people invited as a guest, everything is fixed. Right now humans are consuming resources equal to 1.8 Earth. How many Earths we have? 1. How much consumption we are making? 1.8 Earth. It's impossible. It is like earning 10,000 rupees and spending 18,000 rupees. Impossible. You can't do that. And if you are continuously going to do up to some days, some years, some decades, it's okay. You can do that. But you are doing it at the cost of depletion and degradation, which itself is creating a problem. So if I want to do something, what should I do first? भारत में कहते हैं जितनी चादर हो उतने पैर फैलाना चाहिए. धरती की चादर सीमित है कि असीमित है? तो जरूरत है सीमित होना चाहिए कि असीमित होना चाहिए? सीमित होना चाहिए. तो my first action should be cutting down on consumption and going down from 1.8 Earth to 1 Earth. I need to cut down on my consumption of what? Everything. Achha, by the way, to cut down on consumption, what do we need? Do we need new technology? No. To cut down on consumption, do we need new policy? New investment, new money? Nothing is required, and therefore it is simple, doable, that whole world can take part. And that is what I call it as climate Satyagraha. Satya ka agraha. What is Satya? Earth is finite. That is Satya. What is agraha? What is the request? Consumption has to be finite. That is Satyagraha. And until unless we take part in Satyagraha, or in English we say Finite Earth Movement, recognizing the truth that Earth is finite, therefore my consumption is to be finite. And simply because somebody may say, sir, I am working hard to earn a lot of money. But no, you can earn a lot of money, that's not a problem. But as Gandhiji said, take what is required for you, because if you are taking more than what is required for you, then it is violence to the nature. And therefore, we should follow this formula, I can afford but nature cannot, then only we can actually solve the problem. So what to limit then? Everything. What should we limit? Electricity consumption, food consumption, water consumption, travel, size of the car, number of electronics. What should we limit? We should limit every single thing.